After 4 episodes of pure, number-driven analysis, I'm finally pulling back the curtain. I'm showing you the exact choice I made to replace my short-term rentals. Today, I'm handing over the step-by-step mechanics. You'll learn how to start a corporate housing business from absolute scratch. Look, if you want to build an automated real estate machine that prints cash, you need to learn how to build a business-to-business housing setup. You can do this without the Airbnb app nightmare. Let's stop trading your daily sanity for volatile, over-regulated consumer platforms. Let's start looking at institutional demand instead. When I cut ties with traditional vacation platforms, I didn't just guess my way into a new strategy. I spent weeks working in the trenches, making mistakes until I formulated a hyper-specific midterm rental setup checklist. This is the blueprint 2026 requires to attract elite corporate clients. I engineered a highly structured, repeatable corporate housing business model. It's designed to completely decouple my personal time from my monthly cash flow. If you try to jump into this space without an enterprise-grade framework, you're just trading one high-stress landlord job for another. You stand to lose your upfront capital because you're guessing on your target demographic instead of testing it. To protect your downside, today we're analyzing the raw costs of furnishing midterm rental properties for business executives. More importantly, I'm delivering my direct insurance relocation housing vendor blueprint. This allows you to bypass public apps entirely and plug directly into high-ticket corporate contracts. Let's look at the actual numbers. Let's look at the raw data that forced my hand. After stress testing all 3 alternative models on my balance sheet, Model B emerged as the definitive structural winner for my portfolio. Model B is medium-term corporate housing. Why did this model win? The simple answer is you have to maximize your net cash flow while minimizing your active hands-on labor. Model A flattened my margins too aggressively. Model C required me to liquidate my properties entirely and take a temporary tax hit on the immediate equity extraction. Model B allowed me to preserve my existing real estate infrastructure while completely severing the daily operational tether. I was able to retain my physical property titles, maintain my long-term debt-leveraged asset upside, and pocket a massive cash flow premium. I did this by shifting our target demographic from vacationers to business-to-business corporate entities. By locking into corporate and relocation stays of 30 days to 6 months, I eliminated the single biggest point of failure in my old business: retail consumer volatility. I went from trying to please 100 different vacationers a year to managing just 3 or 4 institutional tenants per door annually. That's how you hedge your downside and insulate your business from platform dependency. The best corporate tenants fall into 3 categories: insurance carriers displacing policyholders after a covered loss, mid-sized companies relocating new hires on a rolling basis, and travel nurse staffing agencies filling regional hospital contracts. All 3 sign fast, pay the full rate without negotiation, and almost never generate a single complaint call because the corporate entity handles all internal communication with the actual occupant. Choosing the corporate model was the first decision, but a strategy means nothing if you don't know how to audit your specific property to make sure it actually meets institutional corporate demands. In a moment, I'm going to show you the exact localized checklist I use to filter out bad properties before they drain your bank account. This brings us to phase 1 of the build: finding and auditing your target asset. Amateurs look at a property and make lazy assumptions. They think corporate tenants will love a kitchen with beautiful stone countertops. That reasoning will cause you to fail completely. Institutional corporate tenants don't care about cosmetic hype. They care about hyper-specific geographic utility and seamless infrastructure. When I audited my original 3 assets for this pivot, I had to ensure they sat within a direct 3-mile radius of major metropolitan medical centers, corporate tech corridors, or insurance relocation hubs. If your asset's located 40 minutes outside of the commercial center in a vacation beach zone, it's fundamentally disqualified for corporate relocation housing. Beyond location, corporate tenants expect dedicated parking, an in-unit washer and dryer, and a real home office setup with a desk, not a kitchen table. Skip any of these and you'll lose the placement to a competing property before the procurement manager even schedules a walkthrough. Next, you must audit the digital infrastructure. I went in and completely ripped out our standard consumer-grade routers. I installed dedicated enterprise-grade mesh networks with synchronized backup cellular fail-safes. Imagine if a travel nurse or an executive on a temporary assignment loses connection during a video call at 9 a.m. Your reputation's wiped out instantly. You must engineer your property to act like an unshakable office space first and a living space second. Once your physical asset passes the audit, you must transition to the legal foundation. If you let a corporate client move into your property using a standard vacation app receipt or an amateur residential lease, you're leaving your business entirely open to massive liability. In a moment, I'll reveal the exact legal clauses that protect your downside when structuring corporate agreements. This brings us to phase 2, structuring the corporate agreement. This is where the real work happens. You're no longer writing standard residential leases. You're drafting a business-to-business master corporate housing agreement. This document must explicitly state that the corporate entity is the signing lessee, while their rotating employees are designated as authorized occupants. This specific legal framework protects your downside. It completely bypasses traditional tenant eviction timelines if an individual occupant refuses to follow property guidelines. The company remains liable for the monthly rent, regardless of who's physically sleeping in the master bedroom. Let's stop playing games with amateur real estate tactics. Learn to look at the raw math instead of chasing hype, and you'll start executing like the serious operators who build real institutional wealth. We give you the unvarnished operational truth every single week on this channel, and I want you executing at the highest tier. Your corporate agreement must also include a mandatory weekly internal housekeeping clause. This allows your team to enter the property every 7 days under the operational guise of cleaning. It serves as your early warning system to make sure your assets being preserved. An airtight agreement gives you a bulletproof defense, but a contract's just a piece of paper until you pull a real tenant inside. This is phase 3, and it's the absolute engine of this entire pivot. Sourcing and placing your first corporate tenant. This is where 95% of residential real estate investors completely fail. Because they assume they have to list their property on popular retail websites and wait for someone to click on it. That's a reactive strategy that leaves you exposed to volatile market conditions. True operators completely bypass retail listing apps. Instead, you inject your asset directly into specialized business-to-business procurement networks and insurance relocation clearinghouses. I'm talking about establishing direct vendor profiles inside institutional databases like CHPA, ALE Solutions, and centralized corporate housing procurement engines. When a major insurance company needs to displace a high net worth family due to a house fire or natural disaster, they don't browse consumer apps looking for discounts. Their procurement teams search these specialized vendor databases for fully turnkey, audited assets. They'll routinely sign a 3-month lease within an hour, paying up to 1.5 times the standard residential market rate. By placing my first client through this exact channel, I secured an uninterrupted 90-day corporate placement that paid out more net profit than an entire peak summer season on Airbnb with zero consumer messaging friction. That first 90-day placement did something even more valuable than the rent check. It gave me a verified track record inside the clearinghouse system, which meant my next placement request moved through approval in days instead of weeks. Your first deal's not just income, it's proof you can be trusted with the next one. Sourcing through business-to-business channels completely shifts the financial momentum of your portfolio, but I'm not going to stand here and paint a fake highlight reel for you. In a moment, I'm going to reveal the truth about what was shockingly difficult during this implementation phase, and what turned out to be unexpectedly easy. Let's be completely transparent about the friction points of this transition, because most entrepreneurs burn out simply because they never anticipated the real work required. Let's start with what was significantly harder than I expected: institutional underwriting alignment. Getting your business registered as an approved enterprise vendor with insurance clearinghouses requires an immense volume of paperwork, compliance verification, and tax tracking. It took me 3 weeks of grueling coordination to get my vendor profiles fully verified and pushed live. On the flip side, look at what was shockingly easy: the physical property conversion and the ongoing operational maintenance. Because my assets were already fully furnished for Airbnb, the physical shift took less than 48 hours. And once that first tenant was placed, the daily operational noise dropped to absolute zero. The payment landed via automated bank transfer like clockwork on the first of the month, without a single guest complaint or management text message. Moving from a high-turnover hospitality job to a structured corporate housing model is the clearest way I know to apply real discipline to your real estate portfolio. You don't have to accept constant operational anxiety as the cost of entry for premium yields. By auditing your assets, locking in corporate agreements, and targeting institutional procurement channels, you completely protect your capital and build a highly predictable cash flow machine. You transition from an exhausted retail host into a highly sophisticated asset allocator. If you're completely done with hospitality chaos, ready to execute on real data instead of guesswork, make sure you're fully subscribed to this channel right now. We give you the unvarnished operational truth every single week. Now, you have the exact blueprint for how I structured my corporate housing pivot and got my very first new tenant placed. The initial setup phase is complete, but setting up a model on paper is one thing. What actually happens when your blueprint collides with the chaotic forces of the real world? In our very next episode, I'm taking you deep into the actual performance of my first real deal under this new system, including a massive, unexpected operational phone call I received in week 2 that almost made me second-guess my entire strategy. You're going to get the unvarnished numbers, the actual headaches, and zero sugarcoating. The full breakdown of deal number 1 is waiting for you inside episode 6 right now. The playlist's live. Don't stand still. Standing still is how your momentum dies. Click the next video, take immediate action, and let's look at the real-world results together.